Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Lali. Good evening to you and welcome to our show. And I welcome all our viewers to this IAI3 EduTalk session. But today's session is with a difference because for the first time we have a luminary from the medical profession, the fraternity who does so much for us. So as we have always mentioned, IAI3 EduTalk, these are sessions over coffee. And here we had a few visions in mind that we wanted to showcase the stories of very ordinary people, simple people like all of us, but who, through self-belief, through hard work, they made a dent in society, in their community, and definitely for posterity at large. Amongst our other visions was to call proficient people from different professions to share with our young viewers where they can get trained and what are the challenges and the strengths of particular careers. And we also told our young viewers that because of the paradigm shift during the pandemic, everything went digital. So lots of new career options have come up, like writers of web series on the OTT platform, voiceover artists, radio jockeys, storytellers at large. So of course, we advise them, you keep your job in hand, but go for auditioning on the weekends. All right, so I'm Anjali Sangvi, and I'm a soft skills trainer, and I'm a member at IAI3. Now today, it is a tremendous honor for me, and with deep reverence, I welcome Lale Busheri because of her dedication, selfless hard work towards research, spreading self-awareness and treatment of breast cancer. Lale, she is the CEO of the Prashanti Cancer Care Mission. This is an NGO which has been functioning in Pune since 1996. Now we are going to talk to Lale about all the feathers in her cap, which she did without hoping to get any rewards or recognitions, and they have come her way because of her work. So Lale, without us spending too much time about all the beautiful things that you've done, I'm going to request you to share your journey with the audience. I welcome you once again, Lale, to our show. Welcome.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you so much for having me here this evening. It's so strange that today, it's actually 25 years of Prashanti this year, from 1996 to 2021. Right. It's 26 years, 25 years
20.
Of Prashanti. Thank you.
Heartiest congratulations to you, Lale. So Lale, please do tell us that Prashanti was your passion, right? And then you started off with Orchids Breast Care Clinic. And what was the inception, the vision behind Prashanti? Please do share with us.
I'll share with you the short journey. In 1996, Dr. Kopikar, the cancer surgeon,
yes,
along with a few patients who would, and their families who were departed, and a few caregivers and a few people from the community, yes, got together to start Prashanti Cancer Care Mission. Basically, right. Prashanti means shelter, to give shelter to an unaffording patient, yes, through the bewildering maze of challenges the disease brought to its wake, through free surgeries, chemotherapies, radiation, so on and so forth.
Yes.
When they first started, there was no money. A few of the trustees were, which is still today, Tanuja Kajol, the actress's mother. Yes. And there was Jagjit Singh, who was a trustee and, unfortunately passed away a few years ago.
Yes.
And one of our trustees who were initially involved in building Prashanti, Jaintu Bose, he would collect newspapers from schools and colleges and they would sell them in bulk. And they would gather money to be able to spend for the treatment of few cancer patients.
My God.
Today, that's how it started.
Yes.
And till today, Jaintu Bose lives in Viman Nagar, and every year he collects papers from all over his area and gives us a check till today. This humble beginning has gone a long way today over the years with the work that's happened and the communities got together and they've, everybody has contributed in kind or in the time or luxury of their time, and Prashanti has grown. We today, by God's grace, receive CSR from many corporates to be able to do what we do. So initially started by helping a few patients who either were very poor to start treatment, Anjali, or
yes.
they could not complete their treatment because of the lack of funds. So
yes.
Prashanti came in the way to be able to pay the bills for the chemotherapy, for radiation. Dr. Kopikar would operate them free. And that's how we would help the patient get back to its feet and be back with their loved ones. This continued for many years. And then in 2009, when I had already started volunteering, I realized that there was a huge gap personally in good quality care for breast cancer. There was not a single dedicated breast cancer center in the city with a state-of-the-art diagnostics. Nor was it a complete whole. They had everything. They had counselors, they had genetic counselors, they had nutrition. It had to be holistic. It just didn't have to be about the treatment. It had to be holistic.
Yes, that's right.
So we decided to put out, and also I found patients were very confused when they came because they had gone from doctor to doctor for many opinions, Anjali, and they were confused. Each doctor gave them a different opinion. So there was no gold standard of treatment. There was no protocol being maintained. And also she was so confused and she lost good time because, with cancer management, you're losing time because going and taking different opinions.
Yes.
So we got down to put out Orchids Breast Health, which turned out to be one of the standalone centers of affordable excellence. The motto basically was that whoever walks in, whatever financial background you are, you're treated the same.
Right. Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. And everyone goes through the same diagnostics, the same machines, state-of-the-art, received mostly by CSR. And I cannot not mention Bajaj. Bajaj has been a huge support to the foundation by giving a lot of equipment free. And many of our other trustees too have supported it. So we went to put out the diagnostic part, which was a state-of-the-art, like a tomosynthesis machine with, for breast cancer, mammography, VAP machine to remove cysts and fibroids without a stitch, with only in a clinic in a few minutes. So there's scarless stitches. Yeah, it's scarless basically. So she can remove her fibroid or cyst with an early diagnosis. And she can go home in a few minutes, like in half an hour, she's home. And then we got an ultrasound machine, which was state of the art. We got an automated breast ultrasound over here, all that. And then we put up a daycare. So the daycare, the UPS of the daycare has been that number one, the patients finish their chemo within 4 to 5 hours. Unlike when you're in any other place, an institute or a hospital where you're there the whole day or sometimes even overnight. So they come in at 10 and by 2 o'clock, they're home for lunch. Or they come in the second shift post lunch at 2 and they're home by 6 o'clock. And every day we have free counselors and free nutritionists who come and they counsel the patients free and their caregivers.
Can you imagine?
And the city has come together, Anjali, and a lot of spas and beauty parlors send their people. So some girls are getting a foot massage, some of them are getting their nail polish done. It's all complimentary. So it's a way to work up their lives,
Sure.
And at the same time, we realized that the support was not there for the cancer patients and their caregivers, which was so important. So, the caregiver is the one who's the most beaten up later on, especially a single caregiver in India nowadays. We don't have the support of joint families. It's mostly the husband or the mother or the sister or the daughter. So we went out to put out Pune's first Pink Ribbon Club.
Yes, that must have been so amazing. And what a unique idea, novel.
Yeah, and the strength of that is that today, apart from us having 5,000 members with the patients and their caregivers and their loved ones, and there are people who are not even attached to the Cancer Foundation in form of having cancer, or their loved one having cancer, people have just joined in.
Yes.
And suppose we have a new patient who lives in an area, say Kalyani Nagar of Pune. So we informed other 20, 30, 40 patients who live in that area, and they just embrace her. They become her family. Somebody will send food to her house. Somebody will take her child for a movie. Somebody will take her kid for a play date. Somebody will take her for a spa, for a head massage. Or somebody will drive her for radiation. They become her family.
It's a family, yes.
Yes, and now of course there's COVID, but before COVID we met every month. We all met every month, whoever could come. We did picnics to Mahabaleshwar, we did evening tea parties in my garden, we did yoga activities, we did whatever we could, but make them happy and give them happiness.
Yes, that's right. So give them a very,
The other part, Anjali, is, breast cancer is the largest cancer in the country, as we are aware. That's the largest chunk of the pie.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in India, against Europe or the Western world, majority of the women coming with cancer come very late. They come at stage 3 or 4 because there's no awareness. So we had to create awareness through Prashanti and Orchids to let a woman know that what are the signs of breast cancer, what are the early signs of breast cancer. A simple thing like she didn't know how to do a self-breast examination every month. So we taught them that. We had a huge amount of talks from Bastis to corporates. We had buses that went out to give free screening. If we found anyone with cancer, we picked them up, brought them to our center, and we treated them free. I gave talks, multiple talks every week, teaching the women early signs of breast cancer. What is the gold standard treatment for breast cancer or non-cancer lesions, benign lesions, and also teaching the girls how to do a self-breast examination. So that was another part of us creating huge awareness.
Awareness.
Yeah, it's a simple thing like the girls don't know that if there's a clear water discharge from the nipple or there's a drop of blood, that is one of the early signs of breast cancer. Right. So there are so many things that the girls are not aware of, and how she should examine herself in her shower, because she's not a nurse or not qualified to do it with her bare hands, and she'll probably find, her own breast tissues, and she will get worried that there are lumps. Yes. So we teach her how to use the flat of her hand during a shower with soap on her body and what to look out for. So we went out creating this huge thing. And also, Anjali, I also realized that many women came and told me that, I got a lump, but I didn't come for 6 months or a year because I was scared I would lose my breast. And I didn't want to stay without a breast. At the end of the day, your self-image, your sexuality, your body image, everything comes into play.
Yes.
So we went out to educate the community, to tell them that mastectomy and removal of the breast is not the gold standard of treatment. All over the world, the gold standard of treatment is conserving your breast, or then to reconstruct your breast in the same surgery as the cancer is removed. Then when she opens her eyes, her cancer is removed and the breast is reconstructed and made to look probably better than the earlier breast, because most of the women who get cancer in their mid-40s, the breasts have started to droop. So the breast is lifted and she opens her eyes to better looking breast. It's proven to have long-term survival. It's proven that you have better sexual
relationships,
and also about your body image and about your self-esteem.
That's right. That's wonderful.
What is the point of only educating the woman? Because what does she do? If she goes to a doctor and the doctor is not trained to reconstruct her breast, what does she do? So we realized that the huge vacuum in India was to train the surgeons.
Yes.
It's very important to train the breast surgeons. Because if the breast surgeon is not trained, how will he offer it to his patient? So there were two parts of this, Anjali. The patient did not have the information that she could have her breast reconstructed or kept whole, or made better. And the surgeons were not trained in India. So Dr. Koplikar put out an MCH course directly linked to the East Anglia University, where today over 500 surgeons from all over the world have come and they have trained with him. And they have learned how to restore or reconstruct a woman's breast and give that option to her. So we were able to educate the society. At the same time, we were able to educate surgeons. So this is the gap that we found, that the community did not know what to ask for, and she kept thinking that she had to lose her breast, and the doctors were not trained to offer that to the patient. So we tried to bridge that gap by educating the woman and her family members at what is the gold standard treatment, and also training more surgeons to be able to offer it to the patient.
Yeah, but that's beautiful, even to recognize that need. And it's called oncoplastic surgery, is it?
It's called oncoplastic surgery, meaning the onco part is the cancer part, where the cancer is removed. And with plastic surgery, you reconstruct or reshape the breast to look better than it was before she went in for surgery. So she opens her eyes after the anesthesia, Anjali, and she looks at herself and she's not,
they're devastated, yes.
And that the one breast is hacked off. She has better looking breasts, they are lifted up and they are better shaped. And, it helps her body image, her self-image, longer term survival and positivity and everything.
Oh, yes, I know. Gives a lot of self-respect to women,
Yes. And a lot of oncoplastic units are now springing up all over the world for breast cancer. And that is the way forward.
Wow. It's really a lot of progress over there.
Yes.
And, Lali, women, they're the strength of the family. And most of the time, they really neglect themselves.
True.
And, Lali, you started the first mobile breast cancer screening van.
Right.
That must have helped a lot of ladies in different parts of Pune and Maharashtra, maybe.
Yes,
Is that
all
right?
over. The van went everywhere, and it is free screening. It went from Bastis in Pune to we went to Bombay. We went all the way to Ratnagiri.
Oh,
We went to many
wow.
places. Yeah, and
Yes,
screened.
yes.
I think over 30,000 women per year.
Oh,
And we have 3 vans today, and they're fully equipped with a mammography, and it has a table for biopsies and small procedures. And it was completely free. And we picked up any woman with a lump, we brought her back to the clinic, which was also complimentary.
yes.
To do further investigations, and many were treated completely free through early breast cancer. We picked up many early breast cancers.
Lali, you're an angel sent by God.
No, not at all. Everyone is doing their bit. I would not be able to do what I do without people like you, or our donors, or our supporters, or people who give their valuable time, you know.
No, sincerely, I sincerely mean it. You know, it's very difficult for anyone to do so much, and it's something. It's a field where you see so much of horror, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
it's sad because it's the whole family goes into a dizzy with one diagnosis in 1 minute. Literally, a biopsy report comes and it changes the life of an entire family.
Oh yes.
But the good part is that breast cancer is also known as the best cancer, BEST, because it picked up very early and it's completely curable and you don't have to look back.
Wow. And please tell us a little bit about the book that you have authored, Triumphs Over Breast Cancer.
Breast cancer. Yeah, I featured many phenomenal women. I also realized that when a young girl came in with the diagnosis of biopsy that's positive, she was devastated. She always thought cancer means death. Yes. And she thought of the worst. She wondered what will happen to her husband, what will happen to her children, and her life is going to be cut short.
Yes.
So I wanted a book of strength where in my book, 23 women of strength of different ages, from a girl in her early 20s to a woman, much past her 60s and 70s, has been picked up with cancer, and how she has fought it, what has been her support group, what has been her way of positivity, what is her way of being able to get up every morning and motivate herself to get a cure. And I thought that would be a Bible for many women to be able to gain strength and to be able to, so that's what I did. And we put that book out and we kind of give it to every girl who comes in complimentary for her to read and get strength.
That's amazing. And also that you were invited as a judge for a fashion show where there were cancer survivors who walked the ramp. I thought that was so completely beautiful, amazing, very positive. Can you tell us
They are the warriors, actually, Anjali. They are the real warriors in life. When we as an ordinary person comes across, we haven't done well in an exam, or, we want to go to see some movie and we can't get the tickets, or something small, we get disappointed. But can you imagine these young girls have fought cancer, and I've had many girls who've been very early, been picked up in their 20s, who've been pregnant, some of them without a husband, 5 months, 9 months pregnant, and she's fought cancer alone. Wow. And I think salutes to those women to go through that. Yeah, and without funds, without money, and they've been all alone, and really salute to them to be able to go through that whole thing single-handedly.
Yes, wow. And Lali, you're also a board member in the board of directors for an international oncoplastic surgery
School of Oncoplastic Surgery. Right? Yes, it comes out of Los Angeles. So that again, they are also training many surgeons all over the world. It's a School of Oncoplastic Surgery.
Yes.
And I'm on the board of that. So this is what we do, and we try to create a protocol in most underdeveloped countries where there is no protocol for a woman for breast cancer, where the surgeons are also trained and they can offer her the best for her life.
Oh yes, how lovely! How lovely, because then it has a more of a global awareness, right?
Yes. Right? And a protocol has to be set in, Anjali, especially in a place like India, compared to a Western world where a woman is very confused. So she comes, she goes to a doctor, he says that. 2 hours later, she takes another opinion, he says something else.
Yes,
3 days later, another opinion. She's so confused, and also she loses valuable time. There should be a standard protocol.
Right.
Because for her.
Sure. So they don't lose time and it doesn't spread anymore.
Yes.
And then do tell us a little bit about your experience as a TEDx speaker, because Only the best of the best go there.
No, I was just lucky. And it was a nice platform, I think, to share the journey of Prashanthi and about these beautiful women and these survivors that do so much. They do much more than I do. They are actually battling, a disease. And as I said in my TED talk, one of the most things that have touched me in my life has been a very young boy who was in his 10th. And, in those days when I first started at Prashanthi, we used to take non-breast cancer patients too. All kinds of cancers we used to help.
Yes.
Then the load became so much that with the funds that we got, we could not support everyone. So we stuck to breast cancer. And that was our forte. And there was this young boy who would come and he was giving his 10th. And we all told him, don't give your exams. His chemo was on at my daycare. And in the morning was his chemo 10 to 12. And he would go for his paper at 2 o'clock. And we said, give it next year. And he said, no. And it was mango season. He loved mangoes. So I used to bring him every day mango milkshake, cut mangoes. Used to keep the book on one hand on the lap and study, and the other hand had his drip for the IV for the chemotherapy.
Oh my!
And he went, he gave his exams. We asked him every day, how was it? He said, Changla. His mother was a housemaid in
Changla, okay.
Yeah, mother was a housemaid. And a couple of months later, he came first in Maharashtra.
Wow.
I'm very much in touch with him. He's becoming a chartered accountant. He's waiting for his results. And I'm hoping to be able to place him in a good company after that. Yes. And it's unbelievable. This young boy, maybe just 16 years old with cancer. He had blood cancer. And with no support, really no father, just a mother who was a housemaid. And he lived in staff quarters. And to be able to do that and come first in Maharashtra. And then now he's becoming a chartered accountant.
And just think of the level of motivation.
I have learned so much from these.
Yes, wow.
Young boys and girls. I have learned a lot from them.
Tell me a little bit about the mindset of the Indian woman as regards breast cancer. I mean, what is the status and how do they look at it? Because it's not just women from one strata of society, but it's from all the women in India.
Yes. Right? So it's a very, very good question. We have faced different phases of this. So when we go and we worked and we have worked with different surgeons in say Rajasthan or the interiors of India, even sometimes over here we find with some of the conservative families, the girl comes but she's not allowed to speak. It's her in-laws. Okay. Most of the time they want a decision, they want to decide what they want to do with her.
Right.
So that is one part of it. The other part of it, in some parts, there is a stigma still. They don't want the families to know because they feel that she may not get married, she may not get a good proposal.
Yes.
And so that part is still there. And the other part is the educated part of society where the girl is, confident, and she says this is just like getting diabetes or getting a heart problem or blood pressure. It's a disease of today, and I'm going to headlong deal with it. I want to let everyone know because I want them to support me. I want my friends and families around me to take care of me and look after me during that period. And so these are the different phases of our community.
That's right.
So
that's right.
In the uneducated, very often they don't want anyone to know. They find it a stigma. And many times the girl and her parents also don't have much of a say. It's the in-laws who come and they want to decide.
Oh, yes. And I think maybe there are many parts of India where the people in the village would rather go to someone who's not exactly, but like a witch doctor, They get
we have gone through it with many patients. We've gone through patients who go to some quack. And I've written about it in my book actually for our actor Nawaz Siddiqui, our famous actor's daughter. So she's given her own story to me, which I have printed in my book, where she talks about how she was locked up in a room by a Ayurvedic doctor without any light, without even a phone for months. And he gave her a cream to apply on her breast, saying the cancer will grow. In fact, it grew so much that it fungated.
Oh my
so by the time she came for treatment, it was very late. She came at stage 4. So there are many people who believe in this in our country, unfortunately, and they get spoken into, and they lose valuable time. They lose valuable time, and it's very, very sad and unfortunate. Very sad.
Lali, it's been so beautiful, and we are so keen on the interest in our, questioning has grown a lot. Are you going to please share with us a slideshow?
I will.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
We're so happy.
Right. Thank you, and thank you for having me on board, Anjali. Thank you.
No. I'll speak to you, of course, after the, yes. Thank you so much, Lali. Our viewers will be very happy with the slideshow presentation. Thanks, Lali.
Just in brief, the different activities that we have, Anjali.
Yes, it's, enlightening, and are all these machines, some of them may be manufactured here, but they look as if they're imported, and that must cost a lot of money.
They are all imported, and they're state-of-the-art available in the world, and they are all being donated by different donors. Yes, for, as I said, the Bajajis donate a lot of equipment to us. Rana Desai brothers, they donate equipment, and they all just do wonderful work for the breast cancer patients.
Yes, even the fact that people donate towards a cause, I think that's so, it's so human, it's humanity.
It's not only the money, it's even the luxury of your time, like some people just come to sit in the daycare sometimes once a week. They volunteer to just come and be with the patient for half an hour just to talk. And you'd be surprised, Anjali, the patients speak so much to somebody they don't know, because they're not worried about where it's going. They're not worried about that person judging them.
Yes.
So the more they don't know a person, the more they're able to open out.
Right. It's like trusting.
Yes.
Straight away, right?
And they're so vulnerable at that moment. They need that support, They need someone to share with.
Actually, that's so nice because most of us women, we just love to talk and it's so therapeutic for us. So I can understand that. And Lali, is there a video you want to share with us, or
So I think
we're done with this?
Yeah.
But it was so beautiful, and I hope that I can in some way also get involved in your organization.
Always welcome. Thank you for having me.
So lovely.
Thank you so much.
And I also wanted to ask you, Lali, in spite of the long hours you keep, the amount of dedicated work you do, how come you still look so beautiful?
No, I don't. I'm very tired always. If you ask me ever, what do you want? I always say I just want some sleep. So,
but still you look so nice. So I'm sure you're, kind of, I won't say enjoy, but you feel happy to do the work you're doing.
Yeah, you get involved, and I think you find joy in giving them some joy. Yes. And also, I think the most important lesson that I have learned is gratitude. I think you have to be so grateful to God for every little thing and every single day that goes by without a major problem. Every single day is a blessing. And as we get older, I think that's more of a blessing to be alive, because so many are not being able to reach the age of somebody else. So I think it's all about gratitude, lots of gratitude to the Almighty.
Absolutely. God has been very kind, really. Yes. But Lali, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for coming on to our show.
And thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Anjali, for having me, and God bless.
There's such a lot of knowledge now through you about breast cancer awareness in India and the amount of work that's going on. Thank you so much, my dear Lali.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have you on our show again. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.